All right, I've been planning this video for a while, and today's the day, so that's good. Here's what I want to cover today. A bunch of Futera rare promo-motional stuff. So that's 4-ups. It's also sample cards. Yeah, so I'll kind of walk through what I've got here. And, I know that there's a lot of this stuff out there. This is my collection of, promotional Futera stuff. So yeah, please leave comments if there's stuff in here that you maybe haven't seen before, or if you've got other stuff. I would love to add to this collection, by the way. So if you've got things like this, I just really find this stuff interesting. So I'll start with the 4-ups. This is a Steve Wall set that was in 1996. What is this? The Decider series? I probably should have researched this before I started this video, but forgive me. So these cards only had 500 copies each in the pack. So so that's a really cool 4-up there. This one is really neat. So this is the Heritage series. I am embarrassed to admit that I don't really know much about these players, but this is a cool set. Also 500 cards in the packs, but this one's really neat because these are the 0001 numbering. So I thought that was really cool. I did a little bit of research. They're all not numbered 0001, so this is the only sheet that would have been numbered that. So it's pretty cool to have that. Here is the first day issue of the Frontliners. So you can see it's got all of the shininess and rainbow kind of foil that the pack inserted ones have, not numbered on the back. But this is cool because you've actually got 3 Hall of Famers and really 4 notable players. Akram, Ambrose, and Eunice being all really top-notch bowlers that very much deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and then Fleming, one of the better Australian bowlers of the era. Speaking of Eunice, here is a 4-up of the World Cup Warriors. Obviously, this is a really sought-after set, especially the Sachin Tendulkar, which I'll actually show you my sample version of that card later. But this is another cool one. You've got 4 notable players, with the top 2, Kumble and Eunice, being Hall of Famers. And this one, so I wanted to point this out. This has this, I don't know what you call this, a stamp on the back that says Authentic Futera Merchandise, which makes me think that this 4-up probably was meant to be distributed and maybe sold. I don't know how these were given. If you have information on that, let me know. This one also has that same stamp. Let me just check something real quick. Okay, so this is actually interesting. So I'm discovering all these interesting things. So here you go. So these both have the stamp. They're both the same exact set, but this one has a gold stamp. This one has a silver stamp. Why? Does anyone know why? Does anyone know why these are so different? And you'll see some more differences like this going forward. I'm not sure if anyone has fully inventoried or created a checklist of this stuff. I do know, hey Steve Fleming, I do know that Steve Fleming is working on a pretty comprehensive Futera checklist. So Steve, if you want to add these on there, these different variations, I think that would be pretty interesting. Here's a 4-up of just base cards. And this is, one of my favorite sets. This is the 1994 set, and the reason I love this set so much, and these actually say promo on the back, so this would have been, obviously meant to be a promo, but the reason I love this set is you've got, three Hall of Fame rookie cards in there, and you've also got a couple, there's actually 2 Warren cards in there, and a bunch of other good stuff. Here's a really cool set that I really love, the Specialist set. I'm a sucker for the cool, flashy cards, I guess, because I'm American. This does have a stain here. I'm not sure why, but just a cool 4-up. This one does not show any stamp or anything on the back. This is obviously a really cool one because you've got not only Shane Warne, which is obviously huge, but you've also got the 2 great West Indies bowlers, Curtly Ambrose and Courtney Walsh there. So this one, again, does not have any kind of stamp on the back. This one is a really, really neat one. I love this set, this Australian retrospective set, which is inserted in the World Cup, 1996 World Cup sets or boxes. And the Shane Warne is the best card in that set, so it was cool to get that as part of this 4-up. And I'll again, I have a sample version of this as well, which I'll show in a little bit. Okay, so here's an interesting one. So here I've got two, which seem to be two of the same sheet, right? Same 4-ups. You know, obviously I love it because you've got Brian Lara up there. Obviously I collect him, and you've probably heard me talk a lot about him, and you'll see more of his stuff later in this video. But again, you've got different versions of this. So the cards themselves, to me, look exactly the same, right? Like same printing and everything, even like the top, right? Like you've got the same exact color. Everything looks exactly the same. This one, silver stamp. This one, no stamp. Why? I don't know. Maybe you can help me. Here's another variation, okay? Again, big Shane Warne fan. You've probably seen this before. I don't think these are necessarily too rare, but I've got two variations here. I'm guessing one of them is rare. Not sure which one. This one, the Robertson card, has the full finish, right? Like you can see like the kind of 3D rainbow finish. This one, completely plain. No finish at all. Why? I don't know. This is a really, 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 really good find. I feel very lucky that I got these. This is the entire, it's actually 10 cards in the Bat to Ball set, which it took me a while to find this card. This is not only a Brian Lara card, which, by the way, this one has no gold foil, which I guess some people would hate and some people might really like because it's more rare. But this is rare for sure because, number one, you've got Shane Warne on the back, so it's one of my favorite cards ever. You've got Warne and Lara, but sample. All right, so why is that extra special? This year of samples, 1995, the Futera file says all these samples from 1995 with the gold lettering, there were only 50 copies of each of these cards printed. So when you think about that, it's pretty freaking incredible to have a whole set, one of only 50 sets produced here. And I'll be honest with you, I actually was lucky enough to get multiple copies of it. This one, you know, the Lara has the gold foil at the top. Still, you know, back looks the exact same. Shane Warne looks the same on both. You got the sample on the back of both. So felt very, very lucky to track that set down. In addition to those, some more rare samples here. These are all samples. So, you know, some memorable cards here. I actually have the whole set of these in sample form. When I say the whole set, there's, you know, the 3 different Greg Chappells, right? There's the and I probably should get them out. But there's three variations of this card. There's the one that would have come in the pack. There's the one that would have been signed, and then there's the one that comes back as kind of like a certificate of authenticity kind of thing. So I got all 3 of these. They all say sample in the back, and again, these would have all been only 50 printed. Likewise, Supreme Team, I have a number of copies of this card, the pack issued version, which is not that rare. It's a really nice card, but there's 7,000 in the 7,000 of those that were printed. This one is the 50 copy sample version. So like this is actually interesting, right? Because like this base card or the insert card in the packs is probably a $20 card, right? Like it's not like super expensive. You know, I think it's a really nice card, but yeah, again, 7,000 copies, not super rare. But you know, this is what, man, 140 times more rare, right? So like, you know, for every one copy of this that was inserted in a pack, there's only, or every 140 copies in a pack, there's only one of these samples. So again, pretty freaking cool, I think. Now these ones I don't have as much information on. If anyone knows print runs on these, I'm going to assume the rest of these were probably printed about 100 to 150, maybe 200 copies. I don't think Futera really printed more than 200 copies of any of the samples, so all these would be a lot more scarce than our pack-issued versions. You know, this one was out of 5,000 or 1,000, the Gavaskar and Poitkat out of 5,000, so, you know, and Clive Lloyd. So, you know, like, I'm assuming, you know, conservatively, let's say 200 copies of each of these, more likely probably 100 to 150 copies of these. So, you know, felt very, very lucky to track those down. So from there, you know, oh, I did want to show this. This is the Supreme Team, the numbered version. You can see it's still got the same gold, kind of, not bright gold, kind of like a dull gold numbering, as opposed to the sample version, which has the, you know, the gold sample there. All right, so I got those out of the way. Now for this stack. So, you know, the rarest of all the samples, right, I think, this Brian Lara World Cup Warrior sample, which the Futera file says that there's 13 copies. You know, I don't know if there's 13 or 15 or 20. Like, I'm not sure exactly. I trust that the Futera file probably has the most accurate information, but either way, it's probably the rarest sample card that was printed. And CGC, formerly known as CSG, now CGC, gave this one a 9. So I thought that was a really cool thing to have in my collection, really cool grade. Also, the other probably most sought after sample card that I've seen is this one. And again, you know, like the PSA 9 version of the regular card, right, numbered out of 2,000, has been selling for probably about $400 US. The PSA 10 is about a $1,000 card based on recent sales. So the sample version is, again, I don't know if there's 200 copies of this or 100, but somewhere in that range, 10 to 20 times more rare than the pack-issued version. So cool one to have. I'm glad to have that one in such a nice grade as well. These can, sometimes you send these in and you think it's a mint card and you get a 7 on these, which kind of is kind of a buzzkill. Here's the Australian retrospective. I showed this as part of the 4-up earlier. This is the rare sample version. Again, I'm assuming 100 to 200 copies. Here is the Specialists Lara sample. And then here's the Shane Warne Specialists. And here you see the sample version as well as the numbered version. You can kind of see that the sample, you know, typically has the really small writing that says sample, whereas the numbered version on these has the big writing up there. Here's another Warne sample. This is the Frontliner. So I've really gone out of my way to try to find as many of these as possible. 3 more cards that I think are all pretty cool. This is the only one in here that's not a sample, but these are pretty tough to find. There's supposed to have been 1,000 of these printed, but I've heard that there probably were less than those available, and a lot of the ones that were printed were redeemed, or people were trying to redeem them. This is part of the Shane Warne puzzle, which is a 9-piece puzzle. I'll actually show that here in a second so you can kind of see where it would fit. You needed actually both of the cash cards, to the piece 9 and the piece 1, to be able to redeem it for, you know, a bunch of money, $500 or whatever. So that's a cool thing to have, and you don't see them come up very much. 2 more cards. So this was a very, very special card. If you got this in a pack, you were the happiest, luckiest person ever. This is the sample version, which I didn't even know existed. And I'm assuming this one was probably a low print sample. The real version only had 50 copies, so I'm guessing this might have been around the same. But yeah, if you got this card, you would have been able to redeem it for an entire set of inserts, which would have been cool. And you can see the Cotmarsh Bold Lily was like the card to have, which, you know, I showed earlier the sample version of that, which was, you know, that would have been a huge find in a pack. But this is the only thing that you'd want more than that, because you get not only that card, but you get all 5 freshman cards and all 16 of the specialist cards as part of that. So was happy to get that as well. And here's what I like to end my videos on a bang, just for folks that actually can sit through the whole thing, which I know there's a lot here, but this is the Lara. It's not a sample, But check this number out. I just picked this one up recently. Number 0, which the story I got was that the guy bought it from a Futera employee that that said that this was supposed to be, I don't know, issued to Lara directly, or just kind of like a promotional cool one-of-one thing. So if you know the story of this card, I don't, let me know. But yeah, I figured that was pretty unique, and I should add it to my already large kind of oddball sample Lara collection. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and actually give me 1 second. All right, I'll end on this. So this is the full Shane Warne puzzle, and this is where the cash card fits. So it's a special version of this 9th card, which is the Ricky Ponting, which is neat too. Obviously I love Ponting, and it has some special kind of writing. It's like more of a gold writing up there, and it's numbered, but otherwise, the same card. And then I wanted to show the Greg Chappell set of samples. So you get the you got the Redemption, which is the Greg Chappell one. That's the one that you send in. Then what you get back is this one, which would have been the signed version, I believe. And then the third one is a certificate of authenticity. So hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, have a good one.